JP Morgan just officially sounded the alarm, and we have to talk about this because this is going to cause the market to erupt and make us extremely rich. When we look at the overall market right now on the weekly, the daily, the hourly, the monthly, you name it, right? Across the board, we are seeing a sea of green. Money is being made right now. On the last week, we could see the gains across the board at 10+%, 20+%. On the daily today, we're seeing some nice gains as well. And in the last hourly, like I said, we're seeing just green across the board here. Bitcoin, 116, almost 117K. Pretty boring. But Ethereum, 4,300 plus, up 27+% in the last week. Up almost 8% in the last day. XRP down about 1.6%. Everyone in the video from earlier today was talking about how I'm talking about Ethereum right now and that Ethereum is taking place for XRP, like it's replacing XRP or something crazy like that on the channel. Guys, the reason why I'm talking about Ethereum, the reason why I'm focused on Ethereum is because we're in phase 2. Yes, XRP has been very successful. Yes, XRP is up 455% in the last year. But the main thing that we're looking at here is Ethereum to run higher so that it creates more liquidity for altcoins like XRP to continue even higher. We need to see money usurped from Ethereum into altcoins like XRP. So if you guys hate me for talking about Ethereum in the video, I hate to tell you guys this, but we need Ethereum to run as high as possible so that it supports XRP here. It's very similar to how we needed Bitcoin to run initially to create liquidity for the entire crypto space so that Ethereum can run and altcoins go next. So right now we are in phase 2, which is why you're going to be hearing a lot of talk about Ethereum. But the main thing to look at here is how bullish this space is getting. We're close to that $4 trillion target on the market cap of crypto. If we're thinking about the 1-year time frame here, we're trading at close to all-time highs. Technically speaking, we are, but I actually don't think that this is that accurate because, again, CoinMarketCap has been extremely inaccurate for a lot of things. If we actually go over here to TradingView real quick and just go to the total, this is what the total looks like. We're close to those all-time highs. It's extremely close. We did break all-time highs back in July anyways, but we're getting very close to that $4 trillion level. But you guys can clearly see the big breakout here. We're targeting, a much larger level on this chart now. Once we clear this all-time high area, so let's actually just draw this real quick on the chart because this is the next stop. Once we clear this all-time high area of 3.94 trillion, then I do think that 5 to 7 trillion is the next stop for crypto. And it might not happen, right off the rip. It might take us a little bit of time, but I'm definitely focused on that like $5 trillion level for the total market cap of crypto next. But overall, market looking very good here. Trading volume has been picking up for Ethereum. I've mentioned this earlier today as well. That's almost mirroring, Bitcoin's, which is telling us that we are in phase 2. But the craziest part about this is after 182 days of Bitcoin dominance being over 60+%, we have lost the 60% level. We are at 59.75%. This is going to be the craziest weekly close for Bitcoin dominance in a very long time. And now we're just watching as the next levels get targeted on this chart. I do believe that the next stop here is 56.81%. Guys, we're basically in the beginning stages of alt season. I know that I said that we're in phase 2, but within phase 2, in the middle of phase 2, we start to see alt season showing its signs of strength. This next drop on Bitcoin dominance is going to be about 5% or a change of 2.99% on Bitcoin dominance itself. This is going to cause altcoins and even Ethereum to go even higher. And I just said, because this is crazy to me, but I said with how bullish the market is right now, I still feel like the engagement is so low. I really don't think the retail crowd is here yet. I know everyone keeps shouting that it is, but I don't think so. Bitcoin is hovering around 116K. Ethereum just broke to its highest high since December of 2021, yet the energy and engagement feels so low. This can only mean one thing. We haven't seen anything yet. And I don't think that we have, right? Like, even though XRP is trading at $3.24, I'm still seeing a lot of people extremely negative, by the way, in the comments on XRP. It's crazy to me. I don't understand why we have so much negativity. I mean, XRP has just been hovering around these levels for a little bit of time now. And currently we are in a tight wedge where we're just kind of trailing in here. And I was more so looking at this on the 3-day. If we're really kind of going off of that wedge, this is what it looks like. I do think that we might have one more retest of this like $3.06 level. It's definitely possible for us to just kind of trail in here, kind of range a bit, break out, finally get that big break to the upside. But regardless of that, if you don't care about the short-term, price action and this lower time frame trading, then guess what? All you need to know is that XRP will be trading higher than $4+ in the coming, I would say, give it like, I don't know, I would say like the end of August. By the end of August, we should be trading much higher on XRP. The entire market should be trading much higher by the end of August as well, going into September. Now, like I said, with this, I'm still fully focused on altcoins. And the total 3 right now, this is what the total 3 looks like. If you guys are in the premium side of the Discord, then you recognize this chart because so far this thing has been playing perfectly into what we were wanting to see on the total 3. We got the wipeout. Now we're back to that top level of 1.05 trillion. It's questionable on if we do get this sell-off here, right? Before that continuation. But this level would be very shallow. I mean, guys, this is a very small drop in the altcoin market. It's roughly a drop of 5.85 trillion or 5.85% from that $1.05 trillion level. And by the way, the only reason why we would drop here is, we would start to see Ethereum really kind of going crazy on the chart, possibly having a nice little sell-off and a pullback, which would cause a pullback across the board. And then we would get that much larger continuation to the upside. By the way, altcoins, they did break their all-time high recently, but we never actually got a solid close over it. This next move should have that, close officially over the all-time highs and altcoins breaking out across the board. And during this time, by the way, I'm also watching XRP dominance because XRP dominance does look very good here on the weekly. Looks as though we're just kind of trailing. We might range a little bit more before we get that big break, but I'm looking at like the 6+% level. Ultimately, we can go to 8. And then from that level, if we are going to see XRP become extremely bullish this cycle and rally like it did back in 2017, 2018, then we would be looking at like about roughly 11 to 14% on XRP. It's questionable on how high dominance will go for XRP. We just really kind of take it one day at a time, but I would love for us to actually officially break over like 5.42%, which is major resistance so far this cycle. And that would allow us to actually have a much larger breakout even on the USD chart itself. Now, like I said, JP Morgan sounded the alarm. What are we talking about here? Well, JP Morgan predicts Fed rate cuts starting September. Bank expects 4 quarter-point cuts this year, bringing rates to 3.25 to 3.5% range. Labor market weakness and Trump's pressure drive accelerated timeline predictions as well. Check this out.
All right, Fox News Alert now as we take a look at the markets with just a couple hours left in trading. The Dow is up 223 points. This says JP Morgan is now forecasting an interest rate cut in September and 4 more by the end of the year. Okay, so markets are taking all of this in. In the meantime, Charles Payne is here to make sense of this. Charles Payne of making money.
Yeah.
Because people are looking to make money in this environment. And it seems, even when we ran our very unscientific poll on our show Twitter account, what is most concerning to you right now? Is it prices? Is it employment? Overwhelming majority said it's interest rates coming down. So do you believe that this is the case, that we're going to see several cuts by the end of the year?
Absolutely. Everything changed on Friday morning at 8:30 when those job numbers came down and those revisions came down, because right at that point, the consensus was September, there's maybe a 30% chance of a rate cut. Overwhelmingly, everyone sees that. Now, you talk about 4, that means there's going to be at least 150 basis point cut. That starts to add a sense of urgency. That really tells you, by the way, if the Fed has to do that, that will really be so damning for Jay Powell, because his position, anytime they have to do more than 25 basis points, it means that they're behind, right? It will sort of cement the notion that, yeah, Jay Powell was late yet again. And to your point, why do so many people care? This is what makes me so angry with the Federal Reserve. They always look at us as a whole nation. Small businesses, we have to refinance under these higher rates this year. Many can't do it. They can't make payroll. So you have small businesses that are hurting. You have individuals that are hurting. We just got a couple days ago from the New York Fed delinquency rates. All of them are spiking. So it's one of these things that Main Street America needs. And now you're seeing more evidence in the labor market, which is one of their key jobs, of course, for the Federal Reserve.
Yes.
So yeah, when we are thinking about this, right, JP Morgan is sounding the alarm that we are going to see major rate cuts this year, starting in September. This has been my thought process along the way as well. I keep telling you guys that the CME group is the one to watch for any Fed rate cut decision. 38 days away, 88.9% chance of a rate cut in September. October, 96% and 99.3% in December. We are going to see 3 rate cuts back to back here. September, October, and December, in my opinion. This is going to cause an eruption across the board for the market. The Fed is going to cause a crazy surge here. JP Morgan just sounded the alarm. I know that we typically don't listen to what JP Morgan is telling us, but in this case, this is something that we need to listen to because this is something that we have in front of us. We have the data in front of us. There's nothing that tells us that this shouldn't happen. I know that a lot of people will say, well, the Fed has been holding steady for so long. What's another month? I think that September, just like we did in 2024, I think September is the start of the rate cuts. In September of 2024 was the first rate cut decision. November and then December were the last 2. So I think that we're following the same exact thing here. And the craziest part about all of this is, XRP is trading at $3.20 some cents. Bitcoin's still at 116K. Ethereum is over 4,300 almost. By the way, just recorded the highest daily close on Ethereum in 4 years. This is what the Ethereum chart looks like. We broke over all of that resistance going all the way back to March of 2024. We're at the highest price point that we've been at on Ethereum since going all the way back to December of 2021. In terms of the all-time high on Ethereum, I mean, we are literally, currently speaking, it's about like roughly 13%, 13.5% or so away from a new all-time high on Ethereum. Once Ethereum breaks over its all-time high, that's when we start to see altcoins really go crazy. It's just like back in 2021 as well. If we think about 2021, and I've talked about this on multiple occasions as well, once we broke over that all-time high, that was in, the beginning of January of 2021. That's what started alt season. So I do believe that once we break over this all-time high on Ethereum, that's going to be the start of alt season officially. Then we have about 3 to 6 months to make as much money as we possibly can. But I do think that the Fed is going to accelerate this. JP Morgan just sounded the alarm on this. So I think that we get a rate cut in September. I think that we pump into September as well. I think that the entire month of August is going to be bullish. I think September is going to be bullish. I think October is going to be pretty bullish as well. November is going to be extremely bullish. And going into December, we really have to take it one step at a time and just kind of see how the markets look, because we could potentially be close to the topping point towards the end of this year into the beginning of 2026. So we just really kind of watch and see where the emotions are. If we are seeing euphoria across the board, then that's typically a big red sign. But right now, there's no reason for us to feel uncomfortable about where the market is, because I do think that we are in the beginning phase of the Ethereum side of the cycle. And this changes very fast once we break to that new all-time high, where we really start to look at altcoins heavily. We are still focused on altcoins right now, but Ethereum is leading the way. We're definitely focused on what XRP is doing. I'll keep you guys posted, but the overall market is extremely bullish. I think right now is a very good time to be a part of this cycle. I know that it's been a rough year for crypto because we had to go through the wipeout initially. We had to deal with the trade war, the tariff discussions, But this is exactly why I keep telling you guys that time in this market is so important compared to trying to time the market. But with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, Nick, thanks for watching. Peace out.